Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for tuning back in. Hope you've been enjoying the content so far. Have some vinyl pickups here, so without further ado, let's get into it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, if you enjoy this kind of content as well as the other stuff I've been putting up on the channel. Let's start off with, this is a band that I've been a fan of, I guess, can't remember if early high school or even before high school, but AC/DC. This is live at River Plate. Still sealed, so I'm going to do an unboxing of this one a little bit later on. Originally released in 2012. It's about an hour and 50 minutes, and this one came out after the success of their Black Ice album. So they went on a world tour, which finished off in Buenos Aires at the River Plate Stadium. Apparently it was a really good performance, and it was recorded over 3 sold out nights. Now, I haven't really bought or listened to a live AC/DC album. Last one that I purchased and owned was live at Donington, so obviously quite some time ago. That is an excellent one to have, though, if you do want to have one. As far as I'm concerned, I think that was AC/DC in their prime, the live at Donington concert. But like I said, I hadn't seen one for a while. This one's supposed to be pretty decent. Pressed on red vinyl, according to what they say here, but I'll be doing an unboxing of this one very soon, so stay tuned for that one. Okay, so moving on, as I mentioned before in other pickup videos, I've been getting more into live music as I've been restocking and building back up my music collection. Either be it on video, VHS, cassette, CD, or vinyl. So I came across this one, hadn't seen it before. And I thought it'd be interesting. I like this artist more so for the hits that he's put out, as opposed to his obscure stuff or lesser known material. Maybe that might change in the future, but for the time being, I saw this one and I thought it'd be really interesting to check out. This is Bob Dylan and Friends, Decades Live, 62 to 94. So this is a compilation of tracks across about roughly about 33 years of his music, broadcast on several U.S. radio stations, including, in here there's also a full color replica poster from the 70s or so, I read. So these sets gather apparently several historical performances throughout the years that were also broadcast on various radio stations. And these performances are either, they can be live or, in front of a large crowd, or some of them are intimate, which for me, I find a bit more appealing. So some of the songs on here, there's Blowing in the Wind, that's from 63 BBC, Fixin' to Die, Hard Traveling, which is from the Folk Singer's Choice, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Maggie's Farm, Possibly 4th Street, Joker Man, Just Like a Woman, All on the Watchtower, and It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. The last 4 I mentioned were taken from Woodstock 94. So again, this is still sealed. I'll do an unboxing of this one, opening up or whatever, and taking a look at it, take a look at the poster, and maybe we can take a listen to some of the tracks as well. Okay, next up, I couldn't recall if I had this one or not, so I just grabbed it anyway. It was cheap enough. This is The Cars, Candio, released in 1979. So the 2 singles that were released from this particular one are Let's Go and It's All I Can Do. And this album was actually more successful than the Cars' debut album. And what I liked about this one was the artwork here was done by pinup artist Alberto Vargas. Alberto Vargas, yes. So he was known mainly for doing pinup artwork of girls. At the time of this drawing, he was actually 83 years old, but he was sort of pressured into doing the artwork because of his niece, who just happened to be a fan of the Cars. And if you're wondering what kind of car this model was sitting on, and the model is actually 35 years old. I can't. Her first name's Candy. Her first name's actually Candy. That's right. I can't remember what her last name was. 35 years old when she did this photo shoot. It was actually for a Ferrari dealership, and the car that she's sitting on is a Ferrari 365. And then the inside there is, so that's the lyric side. And then there's the artist there. And just standard. If I do have this one, it could possibly be a very good upgrade because there's, aside from dust and a little bit of fingerprints, pretty immaculate album. So that's the Cars Candio. Okay, next one I grabbed. I'd seen this before, never really gave it much of a second thought, but it was a pickup just for sort of how cool the front picture was. This is the Monks, Bad Habits. This was released 1979. So it's sort of a spoof of punk rock. It's an English band. I think 3 or 4 of the members in it were the former rhythm section of the band Strawbs. And what was different with this album was, even though it was European, like the Nice Legs, Shame About Her Face, which is the first song on side A, was a number 19 hit in the UK singles chart, but it didn't do anything else anywhere else. Like, just tanked. So despite not having any more success on the UK charts, there was another single, and this one I actually do remember as a kid, vaguely though, Drugs in My Pocket. Was a top 20 single, specifically here in Canada where I'm located. There's a, there we go, I'll show you that side there. The band didn't have much other success aside from this particular album, which is, understandable, I guess. But again, I really just picked it up for that album cover. I thought that was really cool. Okay, next up is, I'm not super crazy about this band, but it's sort of a cool album cover, and I do like some of their songs. This is Toto, Hydra. Released 2011, I want to say. Now, I've been hearing weird things about this one. It's supposedly the original album was great, but it was mixed at a really low volume. Have been the major comments that I've been able to find online. But the master was done really well. If you can find, supposedly there's a Culture Factory version release. I don't know who or what that is. I'm assuming that's the printing label. And I don't think this is that particular one because I can't find anything that says Culture Factory on here. But the Culture Factory one is supposed to be it's cleaner, better balanced, and basically supposed to mainly improve on everything. And again, there's some fingerprints on here. I got to get this stuff funkified. But Toto, it's at the top, yeah. So some of the songs on here are Hydra, St. George and the Dragon, Mama, White Sister. I guess I'm not super crazy about Toto. I do like a number of their songs, but I don't think this was one that I had from their album list. Okay, next one is an artist that I did see only once back in probably within the last 5 years, I'd like to say. He's passed away since, but I was happy I was able to see him once, and that was at Toronto at Massey Hall. This is John Prine. This is Bruised Orange. This is his 5th album, released in 78. And if I remember correctly, from what I read, this was actually recorded twice in 77 because he wasn't happy with the first initial records he had done with it. Initially, he was with Atlantic Records. Wasn't happy with how they were treating him, how they're being promoted with him. So he eventually went to Asylum Records, which is where this one was recorded at. And fairly well received, lots of positive reviews. And kind of like this little picture that was drawn on the front here. Almost looks like a kid drew it. And on the back. Song sheet. That's cool. It's actually the first time I've seen that on the inside. And then nothing special there, just... Okay, and finally, we have a band that I like. A little bit of progressive rock, as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, not into the sense that like bands like Yes and whatnot, but this is Styx. Paradise Theater. How am I showing this? Kind of an interesting album cover. We'll start off on this one here where it shows the theater bustling, you know, everything's at its peak. This is their 10th album, released in 1981. And also their most commercially successful album. So if you see that one where the theater's bustling, and there it is, all closed down. A lot of people say this is the band at their musical creativity peak. And they used, you know, this was the Paradise Theater was actually a real theater in Chicago that was eventually torn down. And it was, the whole thing was, it was supposed to be like a metaphor for the decline of like, their portrait of the decline of like American values. So there it is, folded open. Doom, doom. And then the inside, I'll show you that side first. You know, I just like these really colorful albums. It's nice. It's nice that when they put this sort of effort into it, give you all this fantastic artwork. If I can get you it out. A&M Records. Protect your records. It's actually a nicer sleeve than normal. And it's almost like it's a picture disc. This one side here is perfectly black. Nothing on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But it almost looks like a stain that's gone around this side. But in shows like Styx all on the front, and then there's a design that sort of holographic style. I don't know if you will see it. I'll just wave the record a bunch of times here. First when I initially saw that, I thought it was stained up, but that's kind of neat. I don't know why they only would have done it on the one side. Maybe that could also be like a symbolism of, you know, fancy, like at the theater, and then the plain black after it's been closed down, demolished. So that'll be an interesting one to check out. I haven't heard this one before. A couple songs I might recognize would be Lonely People, Too Much Time on My Hands, Rockin' the Paradise. So some interesting pickups. I do have more. We're going to save that for another record video. But in the meantime, stay tuned. I'm going to do a couple unboxings, unwrappings of these two sealed ones here. Especially interested in the AC/DC one. This is a 3 album. Am I right? I think it's 3 albums in here. And this one's super thick and heavy. And then we'll take a look at the Bob Dylan one and listen to some of the live tracks there and see how that turns out. So leave me a comment below. Tell me what you thought about some of these vinyl pickups. And we'll catch you guys again for another vinyl pickup video very soon.